Coming off a good win last week. I thought our defense was outstanding in the game. Anytime you get a shutout in today's time, man, it's really, really hard. And our guys did a great job. But I think, they're playing good on the run, playing good in the pass, and they're going to have to be this week, as I'll get into that in a minute on Arkansas, because I think they're playing outstanding. But, very proud of our offense. I think we scored 4 of the first 6 drives and overall 6 out of the first 9, but still left a couple plays on the field. I thought we got to get a little cleaned up, but hit big plays. You got a lot of young players, got catches and runs and touches, and a lot of linemen got a lot of experience in the game, starting in the game. Blake Traynor started the first game. Whose father he got in and played a bunch of ball, and all those guys I think did a great job. Keep building depth in that area, but I think we're getting better. Continue to always get better. They're nowhere near where we can be. I think special teams had some really good things in our punt return game, and Nias really did a great job of setting up some scores, putting us in position to get points. I thought Seth kicked the ball excellent. Our punter was outstanding in the game. We had a bad snap on one, and we hit a couple, which is very rare for Caden. But, we got to get those things cleaned up. But, overall, we're getting better. Still got a lot of work to do in all 3 phases, and especially coming into a game right now. I think Arkansas is playing as good as anybody. You look across the board right now, the games they've won, how they play, they've been dominant. They're extremely physical on both line of scrimmage. Sam's always going to do that. Whoever his linemen are, they're always extremely well coached, and he does a great job. And I think Sam's doing an outstanding job at Arkansas right now. I think those guys are believing. They're playing well. They're doing well. They're a very experienced team. If you look at their roster, so many redshirt juniors and seniors, like on defense, especially at the time, but there's a bunch on offense too. I mean, Warren, the receiver, Burks is a junior, Cunningham's a redshirt senior also. I mean, Stromberg's a junior, Clary's a senior, Wagner's a senior, Traylon's the tailbacks, and like I say, their tailbacks are outstanding in the game. I think the quarterback, Jefferson's been outstanding, throwing the ball deep and getting him on the ground running. He's managing our offensive line is very physical. Receivers, say Traylon Burks is outstanding, along with all their guys been making plays. Warren Thompson, Warren Morris, all those guys. The tight ends are big and physical. Kern and Henry doing a great job there. Defensively, like I say, Trey Williams does a great job rushing. The interior guys are very physical on the run. They play the run well. The backers, like I said before, they seem like they've been there forever. And, Morgan, Poole, Henry, those guys are all redshirt seniors, and I believe came back for the extra year. Cornerbacks, Catalan, I think, is as good a safety as we play. Period. I think he's outstanding the way he crashes to the ball, but can still cover, can run, can change direction, physical, tackles extremely well. Their corners are good players, and I think they're good in the kicking game. And I think they're playing great. So we're going to play a great game, got our hands full, going to be a heck of a football game. Questions?
We'll begin with Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Jimbo. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Arkansas's got quite a few key players from Texas. You mentioned Catalan and Poole and, the running backs, Dominic Johnson, Traylon Smith. Just wondering what you think of those guys. The contributions Arkansas is getting from their Texas kids.
Well, listen, Texas is a huge state, and guys are going to go everywhere, and they got some of the right ones. Their tailbacks are outstanding. They got 3 or 4 tailbacks who rotate and play. Smith is outstanding. Sanders is great. Those guys are out. Like I said before, I think safety Catalan's as good as we play. I think he is a really, really, really good player. What they're doing. Bump up all those guys. They're all really good players. They're productive players. You can say one thing, guy's a good athlete, he has size, he has speed, but how productive is he on the football field? Every one of those guys are extremely productive.
And I think I got this right. When you took the A&M job, did you not talk to Sam Pittman about joining your staff? And if so, could you kind of go over that?
Oh, yeah. It was you're looking around for guys, and I always had great respect for Sam. I think Sam is not only turned into being a great head football coach, he was a great offensive line coach. And he was a guy that you're always interested in trying to, as you talk to guys who have the possibility of being on your staff and future coaches and things, and thought he was outstanding. And I think he's a great guy, great person. I love being around Sam, I have to say that. And he's a heck of a football coach, so I have a lot of respect for Sam.
So you did talk to him about joining your staff?
Yeah, we talked. We different guys. I called him. You reach out to multiple guys when you take over staff, not knowing who you're going to hire, what you're going to have, or if guys on your staff are going to stay, if they're not going to stay. You inquire interest in all those guys. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to David Ubben of The Athletic.
Well, how would you assess what you've seen from your defensive front so far this year?
I think they played very good. I think the first game, I thought we got a little out of our rush lanes and did some things. But I think after that, I think the last two games, we played much better, much more physical, much more gap controlled, much more disciplined in how we play, and then actually been more productive by doing it that way. But I think our guys are big, they're physical, and I think they're doing a very nice job.
What have you seen out of DeMarvin this season, and why do you feel like he is a guy that keeps showing up on draft boards for 2022?
Well, listen, one, he's a great athlete. He's a great young man. He's a natural football player. He's very instinctive, and I think his versatility to be an inside guy, an outside guy, to be able to rush inside, be outside, play physical on both ends of the spectrum, inside or outside. Those guys are hard to find. There's not many guys his size and speed and athleticism that have that. And then you put his intelligence, his instincts, and the character he has on top of it. I mean, just an outstanding young man and great leader on a football team.
Thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Think about their run game in total, including the quarterbacks, the difficulties they present there.
I'm over trying to game plan. So you're trying to give me another headache, huh? I was trying to work on some offensive stuff. No. And no, they listen, the versatility they bring, the physicality they bring, and then the speed to be able to get the ball outside, the diverse runs with the quarterback runs, the RPOs, and then the way they run it, it's a heck of a system. And like I say, their offensive line is very well coached, and they have excellent ball carriers. And the quarterback is not only athletic, he's big and strong and hard to get on the ground. So when you combine those things, it's a heck of a combination.
Okay, and I don't suppose you have a player on your roster who has lost a game to Arkansas. Do you have to guard against anything that A&M has kind of been in control of this series recently?
No, I don't, because all you got to do is watch the film. Listen, and even though we have won those games, all those games have been outstanding football games. Our guys know they've all been four-quarter games all the way to the end, a couple of them to the last play. So we're going to have to, I think 2 years in a row, I'm up there both times, and last year was a heck of a game here. So, I mean, listen, our guys know this is a heck of a football team, and plus the way they're playing right now, I don't think there's any, don't worry about that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Nate Allen.
Coach, how do you compare Spiller with some of the other elite national running backs?
Well, that's hard to say because you don't ever... I'm not coaching those guys daily. I don't know who they are or I get to watch them on film. But, I mean, I think Spiller's an outstanding player. And first and foremost, I think he's an outstanding person. I mean, I really do. His leadership, his character, who he is, his work habits, and the way he approaches the game is every bit as impressive as anything he does on the field. And I don't mean that in on the field. He's been extremely productive. He's learning to be a complete football player. He doesn't mind blocking, catching, leading. I'll be the lead blocker, I'll be the other guy, I'll help the quarterback, whatever it is. And then I think his versatility and ability to run the football is so natural. I think he's an outstanding player, but more important, I think he's an outstanding person, which I think even enhances his ability as a player. I really do.
Next, we'll go to Travis Brown of the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hey, Coach, going back to Bob's question earlier, what's kind of the history you have with Sam Pittman and the relationship you've had over the years?
Well, I mean, I've known Sam more from afar for a long time. Just, like, man, that team, who's their line coach? Sam Pittman. Who's their Sam Pittman? But once I met Sam quite a few years ago, just such a down-to-earth good guy. I mean, he's a normal guy. He's a good guy, genuine guy. And I have a lot of respect for him as a coach, but as a person, every time I've ever met with him, he's been great to be around. I enjoy spending time with him, and I think he's outstanding. I mean, I say that's only been since the last 5, 6, 7 years probably that I've ever truly been around him. But I've always had great respect for what he did as a coach. But when I'm around him, it's even more fun.
And then any updates on Anias?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see as we go day to day.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Sam Conn of The Athletic.
Hey, Jimbo, just curious, what do you think of Barry Odom as defense coordinator? What makes his unit so successful?
Well, I think I was asked that question earlier in the week, if I'm not mistaken, and it's the same thing. I mean, the versatility, very sound, what he does, how he does things, how he attacks you, different blitz packages, front packages, coverages. I mean, every play makes you think, makes you have to communicate and talk and make calls and do things. I think Barry does an outstanding job, and I think he does a great job of in-game adjustments as you watch him play. As people get to him, he's always changing, never staying in the same thing, has a lot of versatility, and he's a good dude, man. He's a good guy and another good, really good football coach.
And I know you mentioned earlier this week Leighton Robinson would practice earlier in the week. Is he progressing okay? Do you feel like he'll be back?
I'm sorry, you broke up. I couldn't hear you said.
Leighton Robinson, I know you mentioned he practiced earlier this week. Do you feel like he's still on track to return?
We'll see. We'll have to wait. We'll wait and see as the week goes on. I always say that. I've learned not to say either way because I've seen him go real good and all of a sudden something happened. I've seen him go real bad and all of a sudden they can't play. So I would say day to day. I can't. I wish I knew I'd sleep better.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's all of our time, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.